Welcome to another episode of MIA Unplugged. I'm Anthony, your host here in Miami, and reporting live from Firenze, Italy is Luz.
Buongiorno tutti mundi from Italy. Oh my God, super excited to be back on the show. MIA Unplugged, super happy to be here in Italy. And today we're going to talk about what, Anthony?
Today we're going to talk about the hottest topic in real estate right now,
By
the
far.
NAR settlement of $418 million. So let's get into it. Oh, and a preface, the NAR is the National Association of Realtors. So with that
Let's
said,
do it.
let's dive in.
Well, and as soon as I got here in Florence, I started receiving messages from my friends and colleagues in United States about the famous settlement that everybody's talking about. It is very important to say that a study was recently done, and 76% of the consumers say that they will definitely need the assistance of the real estate agent when they're buying a house. I feel that talks a lot about the value that we as a real estate agents bring to the community. And only 24% people said on the same study that actually a real estate agent is no need because they will just hire an attorney. It's very important for you to understand that an attorney will just write a contract, but everything else that is part of the transaction, from the negotiating terms, negotiating inspection, negotiating appraisals, closing dates, post occupancy, and so forth, is part of the job that us as a real estate agent we do to make sure that everybody goes to the closing table being happy and receiving the house that they really want to buy.
Exactly, because being a real estate agent is much different than being an attorney, right? The attorney is going to protect you based on the terms of the agreement, the contractual obligations, the timeline, whereas us as real estate agents and experts in Miami, we're going to help you draft an offer, make it competitive. If we're working with a buyer who's international, there are also certain things that we need to understand. So we're going to do all of these things to protect you, and then the attorney, if you choose to use one, can overlook the contract and prepare it in a way that's best for you. You can say there was the second poll to the first part. And so 91% of the respondents for the first poll agree that it's very stressful to navigate the home buying experience and process without a real estate agent or broker. And 87% of those respondents also believe that a real estate agent or broker is an essential trusted advisor for a home buyer. Then,
Absolutely.
now we can get into the
Yeah.
process, what's happening of this NAR settlement. So the settlement is totaling $418 million. It only affects, well, the brokerages that are covered are the ones who have done $2 billion in volume or less
Mm-hmm.
in 2022. And then the changes that are proposed, they're going to come into effect around mid-July 2024.
Exactly. So right now what we have is a proposed settlement. We have to wait until the Supreme Court revises everything, makes the final decision for us to really put something into practice. On this podcast, on this episode, we're going to be talking from the buyer's perspective, the seller's perspective, and also the real estate agent perspective.
Exactly. And let's start with the real estate agent perspective, because I think that overall it affects the real estate agent more than the buyers. So let's just start with the agents, and then we can interplay with the buyers.
Awesome. Perfect. So from the agent's perspective, I think it's actually very good for us because how many times we have been showing houses to a buyer after we have done the consultation, after we have get them pre-approved with the lender, after we have been educating them so much, and then they just go MIA on us and they don't answer the phone, they don't call us back, they disappear basically. So now there is something very important, something that I have always said to my agents is you have to become obsessed. You have to be the knowledge broker, because when you are able to articulate on the value that you provide to your client, the client will understand that, of course, like the buyer is working with someone that is knowledgeable, that have the tools, that have the team that backs them up. So when we go under contract, it's not that we just wrote a contract, it's that we're gonna be there every step of the way, making sure that our buyer is protected and that is going to the closing table feeling happy and feeling successful that they achieved that dream of buying a house in Miami.
Exactly. And I think to the contrary, as an agent, that was the agent perspective. But for the buyer's perspective, they also need to understand what it's like to have the process of buying a home in Miami or elsewhere, because you need to understand what the agent's going to say, what value that they bring, and understand that, okay, this agent knows this, but what do I understand about the contract? I would like the agent to tell me about the terms. I would like to know all the negotiating topics. I would like to know definitions. I would like to know what else I can see. And then, of course, if I'm looking for a house, I want to buy it within a specific price range, within a specific time. So understand at the same time, if you're a buyer, there's just going to be this buyer's agreement, and there's going to be timelines. So there'll be a few terms like maybe 180 days you'll be under this contract. And whether or not the agent chooses to have a deposit or retainer, or they just get paid at the closing table, the commission, those are some of the terms in this contract. So it's important for you to understand that when you meet with an agent, you go over these items and you just understand clearly the entire process.
Absolutely. And then on the seller's perspective, sellers now, like what we have seen throughout the years is that, when you go and take a listing, then part of the commission is split with the listing agent and with the buyer's agent. Now the seller is not, like we'll say, obligated to pay a buyer's agent commission, but the seller can do concessions to the buyer. So what does that mean? That if the seller say, I give I don't know, 1% percentage to the buyer's concession, as that buyer's agent already have a signed agreement with the buyer saying that it's going to charge 2-3%, whatever they agree upon, then whatever the seller gives on the listing to the buyer, then now the buyer will have to bring less money to the table. This is like a catch-22 also, because like I feel for those like veterans and first-time home buyers that they don't have, sometimes like they are very very short on the money that they have to buy a house. And even like, for instance, for veterans, they are not allowed to pay any compensations. I don't know if at some point that will change, but right now, if I'm working with a veteran, everything has to be paid at closing by other parties, the seller most of the time, because the VA will not allow the VA veteran to be able to pay anything at closing to the real estate agent.
Right. And this is the question for the VA. What if the seller says it's a concession to the buyer as the VA buyer? Would the concession be able to specify it as a commission, quote unquote?
Yeah, that we don't know. We will have to wait and see. We wanted to take the time to, at least talk a little bit about this settlement and bring you some of the insights that we have so far. But there is still a lot to uncover about this NAR settlement. And, we just have to wait and see how everything is developed. We're going to be here. It doesn't matter where in the world I am. And Anthony, we're going to be here to keep informing you and giving you some guidance. So, keep listening to our podcast, keep looking at our YouTube channel. And, the next one is going to be, I will say maybe May, we will know more. And the settlement have to be like fully signed by mid-July. So let's wait and see.
Right. And we have to continue to wait and see, because although it's a proposed settlement, maybe the court wants to reject something. They want to also negotiate the terms of this proposed settlement. So right now, the expected date for all this to happen is mid-July, but it can go into August. It can go into September. We really don't know. Again, legal processes are complex. So this is just a proposed settlement, and we'll see how it goes. Because again, one issue that Luz mentioned that we have right now is with VA buyers. So they have to figure that out as well. And there are a bunch of other people who may need help, that they have a very specific budget in mind when purchasing a house, and they will need some type of leverage or another way to buy a house. So again, we don't know what's going to happen. It's just proposed, and we'll see.
Exactly. I will use this as a closing note. Important for us as a real estate agent is keep educating ourselves to make sure that we are providing our consumers the best possible service, because now a lot of people are saying that X amount of agents are going to leave the business. Well, I think that anyone who is not ready and willing and able to serve our clients to the best service, of course they have to leave. But if we take the time to really educate ourselves and understand that we have a fiduciary capacity to our clients, then we can take this business even higher than we have taken it so far. So don't be stressed. I will say don't be stressed. Just be knowledgeable. Take this time to really get yourself educated.
On the flip side, of course, there may be many agents who leave just because they're uneducated. They don't want to take the time to learn. They don't want to continue to evolve. They just think, hey, look, my cousin is going to sell their house. I'll get that listing. I'll make the money. No, it's perfect, because the buyer deserves a better choice in real estate agents, because now there are 1.2 million real estate agents in the U.S. So
The
think about
consumers overall, I will say that consumers overall deserve a better service. The consumers overall deserves that, that they working with people that, or they know what they're doing, and and that they are 100% protected, and that we are doing the best we can to support them, and that all of us, we have a team that is backing us up every step of the way, and that the client at any moment or at any time during the transaction feels that they are by themselves. So
exactly. That's the most
let's
important part.
let's keep learning. Let's keep providing our clients with the best service, and as Tom will always say, be the knowledge broker. I will say that now more than ever, that's what we have to do. We have to
Exactly.
do. We have to do that. We have to become the knowledge broker to make sure that we are always doing what is best for our client. This is not a one deal transaction. This is a relationship business. And the only way that we can create a trusted and solid relationships is by trust.
Beautiful.
And we cannot be trustworthy if we don't know what we're doing.
Yeah, exactly. And if you don't go through the process of looking for the best real estate agent to represent you, how are you going to find out who is the best one for your real estate agent, your team, right? For your real estate team. Because again, it's a team sport.
Absolutely.
And we talk about the actual home buying process in a different episode, which you can listen
Mhm.
to at any time.
Yes,
And with,
absolutely.
with that, will keep you up to date on the latest NAR posting and the proposed settlement and when it goes through, or are there any changes. And we'll wrap up the NAR settlement right now.
Yeah, so remember, share, subscribe,
Like,
and like, please, and leave us your comment in our podcast, YouTube channel, whatever you listen to your podcast.
that's right.
And this was MIA Unplugged.
Live from Italy and Miami.
Yes.